Hello second year, it's Mrs McInnes here. In today's lesson we're going to be learning how to remove a bracket. So our learning intention for the lesson is to be able to expand a bracket by multiplying algebraic terms correctly. Alright, so obviously we need to remember how to do the multiplication when it comes to algebraic terms. So that is really revision, we have done that before. We then need to look at how we remove a bracket, and then this class are going to move on and look at collecting like terms as well, okay, because you are a good class, alright. So we are going to start by looking at some examples, some pretty straightforward ones to begin with. So to remove a bracket, all we are doing is multiplying everything that is inside the bracket by the term that is outside the bracket. Alright, now what you'll find quite useful here to do is use what I would call rainbows, okay? So using these little sort of annotations will help you just to remember what you've multiplied and take it step by step, okay? So your first example, really simple. We have 2 bracket x plus 3. So all we're going to do is multiply everything inside the bracket by 2, because 2 is outside the bracket. So if we begin with 2 times x, okay, we should remember from previous work with algebra that if you multiply a number and a letter, we just write them side by side. So 2 times x is just 2x. We're then going to go back up and do the 2 times the plus 3 as well. So 2 times 3 gives you 6. So that one there gives you 2x plus 6. Okay. Pretty straightforward. There's nothing more to do with that question, because if you remember from your collecting like terms, you can't add together letters and numbers, okay? You can only add the same letters or just numbers. So that question is finished. That's all we're doing there. Example 2, we have 3 bracket 2a minus 4. So we're going to multiply everything in the bracket by the 3, okay? So 3 times 2a, 3 times 2 gives you the 6. And you need the a as well, okay? So 3 times 2a is 6a. 3 times minus 4. Now remember, when you do your multiplication with negatives, okay, if you have one positive and one negative, like we do here, your answer is negative, okay? 2 positives obviously give you a positive, and 2 negatives will also give you a positive, okay? But if it's one of each, it's a negative number, okay? So 6a minus 12 is our answer for the second one. And for the third one, we have 7 bracket 5d plus 3g. Okay, so there's just more kind of terms there, but we do the same steps. We're going to times everything by 7. So 7 times your 5d, so 7 times 5 is your 35. And you have your letter d as well. And then 7 times 3g, well, 7 times 3 is 21. And then you have your g letter as well. Alright. Please remember as well, guys, that when you're doing your letter X with algebra, we don't write it like that, because that looks like a multiply. You have to write it as sort of 2 curly C's back to back. So just watch for that if your questions have a letter X in them, okay? Now, moving on to some slightly harder examples, because I'm sure this class will be able to manage these no bother. So here we have just some longer questions. So the top one, we have 3 bracket a plus 2b minus 3c. Okay, so there's just 3 terms inside the bracket instead of 2. Now really there could be any number of terms, 2, 3, 5, 10, it doesn't matter. We are taking everything in the bracket and multiplying it by the number outside your bracket. Okay, so this is where the rainbows are helpful, just to make sure we take it step by step. So we start with 3 times the a, so that's 3a, that's a simple one. 3a. We then do 3 times the 2b, so 3 times 2 gives you the 6b. And then 3 times minus 3c, so 3 times minus 3 is minus 9, and then you've got your c as well. The next one, we have a negative number at the start. Now that doesn't change what we're doing, we're still multiplying everything in the bracket by minus 6. So minus 6 times 2x, well, minus 6 times a positive 2 would be minus 12, and then we have our letter x. And then we've got minus 6 times positive 5. So again, one negative, one positive. That's going to give us a negative number there, so minus 30. Now I've included here for you guys a couple of questions where you have something extra on the end of the question outside that bracket, okay, just to kind of extend you on a wee bit, okay. So here what we would do is we're going to multiply out just the bracket, and then we will add on that 2x at the end of that question there. So if we start with our brackets, we've got 4 times the 3x, so that's going to give us 12x. And then we've got 4 times the minus 2y. So 4 times minus 2 is minus 8. And then we've also got the y. Okay, so we're taking out the bracket, but we now have this plus 2x on the end. So what we would do here is we would now have to collect together our like terms. Okay, so you should remember this from kind of first year, that you can add together the letters that are the same. Okay, so if we've got 12x plus another 2x, that's 14x. And then we've got our minus 8y as its own term. Okay, similar with that last one there, example number 7. We're going to multiply out that bracket first, and then we will do the minus 6 at the end. Okay, so 2 times your 7m, that's 14m. 2 times your minus 5 would give you minus 10. And then you can put on the end of that minus 6, and we'll tidy things up. Okay, so here we have minus 10 and minus 6 that we can tidy together, so just the numbers. Okay, so 14m minus 10 minus another 6 is minus 16. All right, so what I would like you guys to do for the rest of your lesson is from the R2 textbook, sort of a red kind of cover, page 118, exercise 9.4. Now, anything from question 1, 2 and 3 is where I would want you to be looking at today. Now, you might look at question 1 and think, yeah, that's quite straightforward. If it is too easy, or you know, you do a few and you're finding it really easy, you can move on to question 2 and 3, okay, because they're a little bit harder. All right, but don't feel like you have to do every single question from 1, 2 and 3. If something is too simple and you've done a few of them and you've checked your answers at the back and you're doing fine, you can move on to the next question, because they will get a wee bit harder as you go. All right, if you need any help, please make sure you ask whoever is there, whatever teacher is available, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks, bye.